Death-eyed dog. Mixer.m4v, barren land of darkness and skeletons, the deepest level of the underworld rests 9 worlds beneath our own. The dead take a full year to journey there, the living never go. At the first level of the underworld, the Mexico dead, if they are lucky, pick up a dog to guide them through the harrowing dangers of the underworld. Houses are lonely when they are no longer homes, and nightfall makes emptiness rattle. Pedro walks in the night with his dog. He wears 2 big, hooded sweatshirts that hide his face in darkness. This part of San Francisco is gray. The fog dampens the cold, street lights dim the darkness. The only glitter comes from the glass chips in the sidewalk that shine in the momentary light of passing cars. Pedro walks smooth and towers over most people on the street. His arms are heavy and solid, his eyes are tired and full of unshed tears. He carries orugas on his face, so deep they sometimes appear as folds. He lives alone. Even when among friends and family, he resists communion. Solid as his name, stone cold, like a fallen star who's forgotten how to shine. It is as if he wears a cloak, a tangle of scars of loss that hide the glow of his heart. Passerbys slink away from the walking duo. Death-eyed dog sinks over the horizon with the morning light. Soloto, the evening star, hangs heavy in the night sky, demands notice as soon as the bright rays of the sun sink beneath the horizon. Death-eyed dog, Soloto, cried so much when the last world, the world of the 4th sun, ended, that his eyes fell out of their sockets. Blind, Soloto guided his brother, Morning Star, into the depths of Mixer.m4v after the 4th sun ended in flood. The waters washed all the dead to the underworld, returning the people to their spiritual home of darkness. None were left to remake the world of the 5th sun anew. Morning Star, Quetzalcoatl, guided by Evening Star, Soloto, descended to Mixer.m4v, land of darkness and skeletons. Human bones covered the ground. Quetzalcoatl slashed his wrist, anointing the bones with his life-giving blood. Soloto, death-eyed dog, gathered up the bones in his mouth, carried them from the underworld back to the material world to remake mankind in the 5th and final age of the sun. Pedro knew a different life before this life he lives now. He had a wife, he had a daughter, he had a home. They are as gone now as if the flood of the 4th sun had come and washed them away. Untethered, he never cried, gritted his teeth instead, and convinced himself not to feel. Stone cold. Emotion oozes out the cracks or explodes in sudden and unpredictable bursts. The dog was to take the edge off alone, off lost, off untethered. His pit bull is rowdy, rambunctious. They hold the opposite ends of the leash and pull and pull and pull. Neither ever gives in, even when Pedro raises the leash up over his head, hauling the dog several feet off the ground, its jaw locked. Pedro lowers him down, lays his broad hand on the dog's head. He doesn't push down, but lets its weight be enough to make the dog submit and release the leash. His submissions are only momentary. He knows who is boss, but only in the practical matters of food and shelter. That pit never stops being his own dog. He mischieves all the time. The dog, too, is big. He is lean and narrow, but tall, taller than pit bulls are expected to be. Pedro's and the dog's eyes are the same hazel color, only the dog's are full of joy and love and play. A gap begs a bridge between the two, a guided path from the terrible cloak of Pedro's to the dog's incorrigible joy. Pedro ought to be blind with tears by now. Instead, his eyes hang heavy at the edges, as if carrying a great weight. He goes about now in a darkness as bleak as Mixer.m4v, in a darkness as tight as a straitjacket. For Mixer.m4v, it is possible to rise again as a butterfly or bird, to resurrect oneself. From loss, it is possible to rebuild your life. Winter rebirths, spring swells into summer, sheds into autumn, returns to the barrenness of winter. Winter time, dark time, where it appears that all is lost and nothing moves, are crucial times. The earth restores during winter. Its faith never flails at the darkest time of night, during that hour before the sun sets a blood-red glow on the horizon, knowing that it must arrive at those dark depths before bursting forth into spring. 2, to rebirth from the underworld, the dead must first arrive at the depths of Mixer.m4v. Pedro got his dog after he went from being part of a family to being alone. Something warm and alive to love in the hardest time of unknowing what next. Something to care for when the dawn was nothing to set his cap at, a guide for the darkest part of night. He lacks the morning star, the blood of life that ushers in a new dawn. Stone cold, Pedro forgets to look for the sun rising, for the red glow on the horizon. He spends his days waiting for it to be night and the night to be day until the time that will pass does. He tries to form a new family, one of friends, stopgaps living with parting, something to fill the time and space. The gap between the dog and him becomes an abyss, slowly, like water run through a crevice carves out a canyon. Pedro and his dog walk up 21st Street, past the crowded at night basketball court, the stoops where people sit, drinking and talking and hollering out to passers-by. He had set up for a walk to take the chill off alone, but the darkness presses tight. They turn onto Mission, head over to a cantina where a friend tends bar. Pedro ties his dog outside, and as soon as his shadow fills the doorway, a beer and a shot of tequila are sliding across the bar to him. It is Derek's bar, meaning the bar where Derek works, not a bar that Derek owns. The lights are dim and throw a reddish cast to the bar, except for the bright white light that highlights the rows of bottles. There they are, working and playing, all his crew, and Miguel shouts, "Hey man, where'd you crawl out from? You missed a great party last week. Ask Devin about it." Then starts laughing maniacally like a machine gun. Pedro asks, and Derek sets out a row of shot glasses, fills them with tequila, and then everyone reaches in and grabs one, throws them back, and gets back to work on their beers. Devin launches into a story. "So this girl, I see her, and she looks amazing, and she's alone. So I give her a little tap, just a tap, not even on her ass, but on her hip. And then this guy on the couch glaring at me comes over and pushes me off the table, and Derek starts laughing. And I come in, and, dude, shut up, I'm telling the story, and Pedro's eyes are lit up, anointed by the liquor. Hey, Derek, how about another round over here? Because that's what they do, is keep going until Derek calls last call, and then the crowd spills out onto the street, leaving just him and his boys, and they head into the dark and do some lines, and their speech becomes sharp like knives, and their laughter like metal, and they leave, finally, and head over to where Miguel knows somebody's spinning, and it's going to be good, man, and they go and they stay inside in the dark, cut with bright pulsating lights, even while the sun rises, blood red, spilling dawn over the land. Thank you.